Hello there, this is Dill from Crypto College, and this is another episode of Crypto Tips. Today we're going to be talking about how to buy Bitcoin. Just a basic lesson on how you can start out buying Bitcoin if you're completely new to crypto and you've never purchased cryptocurrency before. So the first thing we want to talk about is pricing. And what I have right here is CoinMarketCap, one of the most popular sites for looking at pricing. So Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are priced in US dollars typically, as well as other currencies depending on what your local currency is. Now, most commonly you'll see Bitcoin and other cryptos priced in US dollars. And the reason for this is because you're actually going to need to buy cryptocurrency with US dollars or your local currency. So the way you do this is through what's called a fiat exchange. And fiat just means cash, like normal cash such as US dollars. So fiat exchanges are where you can go to purchase Bitcoin if you need to turn your US dollars into cryptocurrency. So let's talk about one of the most popular fiat exchanges, which is Coinbase.com. So I'm going to go on Coinbase.com so you can check out what it looks like, and we're going to talk about the registration process and some of the first steps that you'll need to take when buying Bitcoin. I'm not going to go too deeply into it. I'm going to talk about the registration process and some of the key points that you'll need to know when going through it. But yeah, let's get started. So if you're brand new here, you're going to click Get Started. And by the way, I want to talk about some other websites too. So before we get started here, Coinbase is one of the most popular websites to buy and sell cryptocurrency with fiat currency. So if you need to turn your US dollars or euros or other currency into Bitcoin and crypto, a great place to start is Coinbase. Now there are many other exchanges where you can start, such as Gemini.com is another popular one. So let's check out Gemini just so you can see some of the competing options. And there's a lot of different options for you to purchase cryptocurrency, especially if you're outside of the US. Within the US, we only have a few regulated cryptocurrency exchanges where you can buy with US dollars, Coinbase and Gemini being two of the most popular ones, and the ones that I have typically used. So now that you know a little bit about the exchanges and the process of actually going on to buy crypto and what it requires, you're going to have to get registered for an account on an exchange. Now, we were just on Coinbase. I'm looking at Gemini now. I'm going to click the Get Started button, which is the registration button, and you're going to have to put in some personal information here. So you're probably going to be opening a personal account. It's going to require some basic information such as your name, your address, your country of residence, and eventually your social security number. And this is all part of a process called Know Your Customer, or KYC. And Know Your Customer is a very important process for exchanges which are required to register with the government. So when you go to register for an exchange, be aware that there is going to be some Know Your Customer policy which requires you to give up your personal information. And another thing that I want to touch on before we go forward more is the possibility of local bitcoins. So there is a website called Local Bitcoins, and I'll check it out right now for you guys so you can see what it's all about. Local Bitcoins is about buying Bitcoins directly from another person in cash or a cash equivalent locally. So this is something you can do where you can actually meet up with someone and purchase Bitcoins. And it's a pretty reliable way to get Bitcoins. There's obviously some safety and other considerations that you might want to think about when purchasing Bitcoins directly from another person. But there is some features through Local Bitcoins that allow for security, as well as there's regulations coming up. So I know that Local Bitcoins now has some policy about AML, which is anti-money laundering, as well as KYC. But that being said, Local Bitcoins is one way to get Bitcoins without using a large, well-known exchange, and there's also Bitcoin ATMs, which you might be able to find locally. So just search Bitcoin ATM on Google and see if there's any Bitcoin ATMs around you where you might be able to go easily pick up some Bitcoins in person. Now, that being said, let's jump back to the registration process. So you can see we started registration here with Gemini. I can go to Coinbase.com, and we can look at their registration as well. And so now is the part where you're going to have to put in personal information. You're going to have to tell them your name, address, and some other information, as well as link a payment method to purchase Bitcoin. Now, most of these websites will take multiple payment methods. I highly recommend linking your bank account, as it's the cheapest and most efficient method to purchase Bitcoins. But you can also purchase with a debit card or a credit card, so there's many different ways to do it. Now, that tells you about what you need to know about getting started with Bitcoin. So you're going to have to set up an exchange account or use a local means of acquiring Bitcoin. And then you're going to have a payment method ready, which is typically a linked bank account or a debit card, but it can also be a credit card. Just be careful when you're buying Bitcoin on credit, as you don't want to buy more than you can afford to lose. And just before we get done here, I want to leave you with a quick Bitcoin tip or a buying strategy. And that is, I recommend you just buy a small amount of Bitcoin and continuously add as you go in amounts that you can afford. So even if you have a little bit of Bitcoin, like $20 or $50, this will just help you to pay attention to the Bitcoin market and what's going on with crypto. So that's just a little tip to leave you with. Make sure you catch up with us on Crypto College and check out advantageblockchain.com/cryptocollege to sign up and find more resources from us. Thank you and have a nice day.